Less than 5 days after 6 foreign nationals were killed by its missiles, Israel's account of what happened has been released. The report paints a damning picture of a military unable to effectively command its units. It also raises questions about whether the deaths of the World Central Kitchen staff amount to a war crime. The report said the military team, quote, did not identify the vehicles in question as being associated with World Central Kitchen. Following a misidentification, forces targeted the 3 WCK vehicles as having Hamas operatives inside. The strikes on the 3 vehicles were carried out in serious violation of the commands and standard operating procedures. Israel said foreign ambassadors of the countries whose nationals were killed were briefed on Thursday night ahead of the report's release. In a statement delivered swiftly afterwards, World Central Kitchen criticised Israel's findings, saying, "Without systemic change, there will be more military failures, more apologies, and more grieving families. We demand the creation of an independent commission to investigate the killings of our WCK colleagues. The Israeli army cannot credibly investigate its own failure in Gaza." WCK also pointed out that almost 200 humanitarian aid workers have been killed in the conflict in Gaza, the vast majority of them working for the United Nations. The report's release also came as the United Nations Human Rights Office said any attack against people involved in humanitarian assistance may amount to a war crime.
Independent, thorough and effective investigations into all alleged violations of international human rights and humanitarian law committed on the 7th of October and subsequently need to be conducted promptly.
The UN's Human Rights Council on Friday also adopted a resolution calling for Israel to be held accountable for possible war crimes and crimes against humanity in the Gaza Strip. Israel dismissed that as a distorted text. Speaking later, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said Israel needed to fundamentally change what it was doing.
But the essential problem is not who made the mistakes. It is the military strategy and procedures in place that allow for those mistakes to multiply time and time again. Fixing those failures requires independent investigations and meaningful and measurable changes on the ground.
The airstrike on the aid convoy appears to have drastically increased international pressure on Israel. But domestically, the picture is changing as well. Just this afternoon, security ministers voting in favour of allowing more humanitarian access to Gaza, amid growing calls for early elections and unrest within Israel's fragile governing coalition. This week could yet prove to be one of the most significant in Israel's latest war on Gaza. Joel Flynn, TRT World, in occupied East Jerusalem.